Rev up your engine! Now you might be surprised by Mazda 3s. This is a brand new one, 2023 Mazda 3 Turbo. Originally, if you look at these pictures, the only ones are pretty ugly and pretty slow. But this thing is a world apart. It's the brand new one. There's a lot of changes in these things. And as far as I'm concerned, they're all for the better. Look at the styling. Look at it. It kind of looks like a nasty shark. Check the interior. My favorite, black and chrome. We'll start it up. Japanese car, of course. It's going to start right up. Everything you need to know right in front. Got a nice little infotainment screen that doesn't ruin your view. Pretty well designed. Got a nice armrest. You can control everything here right with your hand. What I like about this is not a CVT transmission. Automatic that you can shift manually. It goes pretty good just by itself, but it's not a CVT. Let's check the back seat out. There is lots of room. Nice armrest if you don't want a third person there. Not tiny. There's room in this car. Now, as you can see in the trunk, it's got a reasonable amount of space. Realize it's a relatively small car. I mean, there's only so much space you can have, but of course, the seat's all flipped down. You want to carry stuff, you got a lot of room in the hatch then. There's all kinds of space. So give it a slam. Nice and solid. My favorite thing really is it is made in Japan. Like I always say, you want a Japanese car, you're better off with one made in Japan. They just do a better job. They're conscientious workers who care. In Japan, working in a factory is a good job. In the United States, it isn't seen as such a thing anymore. It was when I was young, but it isn't anymore. The fit and finish of this thing is perfectly fine. This isn't like a $70,000 electric car from Elon Musk where nothing fits right. They rattle when you go down the road. And I don't know what it is about the Japanese robots, but they do a heck of a job painting these cars. Now it's got the little sign, Skyactiv G Turbo. The turbocharged 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine. Now, you got a choice here. This year, the new one's 2023, they only come with a 2.5 liter engine. They figure they get good enough gas mileage with this with the Skyactiv setup. He regularly gets 35 miles a gallon or so on the highway, driving at regular speeds, right? So it gets good gas mileage. It's not a tiny engine like a 1.5 liter or a 3-cylinder engine or those insane Nissan variable compression engines that, yes, they will get gas mileage and yes, they have power, but will they last? Now, the owner was seriously considering getting a Toyota Corolla hot hatch, but he doesn't like the CVT. Neither do I. I would love a Toyota hot hatch with a 6-speed automatic transmission. He got this transmission and he loves it. The way that it shifts, you can put it in sport mode, you can put it in eco mode, you can drive it whatever way you want, and you don't have to worry about the complexity of a CVT transmission. Yeah, they get a little bit better gas mileage. Car that looks like this and zippy, you're getting 35 miles a gallon. Do you really care about going into another higher level of technology for a couple miles a gallon? I think it's stupid. Now, as we go inside, the owner of this car is smart. Rather than pay a lot of money for factory stuff, put his own camera set up, and guess what? It only cost him 300 bucks. He bought it, did it itself. Not hard to install, right? Do not buy a new car and pay thousands and thousands of dollars for additional things like that when you can easily add them on. It's warning me. Oh, I don't have my seatbelt on. Yeah, I'm not driving anywhere, that's why. Really nice interior, stitched up nice, matches. It's not like those really expensive new Corvettes where a bunch of them, the stitching didn't even line up right when they build them. The Japanese build cars in Japan correctly. They care about how it's done right. Look, it's beautiful looking. Big old giant usable glove box, humongous cup holders where you can easily reach them. You don't have to look back. It's right there. No line of sight. Of course, it's got cruise control, but it's got that active cruise control, and he loves it once he gets used to it, so it won't get too close to people. Then it will pass when it sees there's time to pass. And what I like about this car is, look, things are basic, but everything you want. The fan, the temperature, the AC, whatever you want, touch of a button, simple. You don't have to sit there scratching your head wondering what button goes where, how does this work? It's set up nice, so you can easily do it. And of course, if you want to mess with the computer, scroll through it all, push all your little buttons and stuff. I mean, easy to navigate, and it clicks. I love this because I am not a fan of touch screens on a car. They're too sensitive. You're driving down the road, bouncing. I would rather have click, click, click. It's solid. It stays on the click. Then when you push it, it goes to it. Turn it off. Simple. You're not fooling around with some kind of a computer mouse while you're driving down the road. I like the layout, but let's see how it runs. Now, it's got a nice backup camera with good contrast. Look at that. You can really see the contrast there. It's not some sloppy one where the pixels are just garbage. You can really see. Yeah, it's somewhat smaller, but I mean, how big do you need it, you know? And like I said, you can see it's not distracting because it doesn't block any of the glass. How do door locks work? Now, it also has, of course, the modern stuff. Heads up there, it's telling us the speed limit while we're driving down the road. That's really handy, unless your wife is sitting behind you and she sees it. But luckily, if she's sitting next to you on the right, she can't see it, because only the guy sitting here can see that. Some things you don't want your wife to know about. Now, the first thing I noticed, it's a relatively quiet car. If you were ever in an early Mazda Model 3, they're like tin cans. This is no longer a tin can. Now, it handles really well. And yes, the ride is a tad on the harder side, because that's what somebody who buys one of these turbos wants. Handling and fun driving. You're not buying this to be riding on a magic carpet ride. You expect to feel the road because you're driving on the road. So we're coming up to our little drag strip here. I'll look in the rear view mirror. There's nobody behind us to hit us, so let's see what this thing does in sport mode. There we go, there goes the turbo. Nice acceleration. It's fun, it's got that turbo, but here's the thing you gotta realize. If you really wanna get the most out of it, let's say you wanna have some fun, go fill it up with high-test gas. Let's say you're taking it on a trip across the country. You'll probably wanna use regular then, because you're just gonna be cruising at the speed limit anyway. It will run perfectly fine either way. As you can tell, it's a very windy day today, but it's not noisy inside here. This thing is sealed. It was well built. The Japanese put these things together quite well. Like I say, you step on the gas, here we go. It's very responsive handling. I mean, look, it said go 20, we're doing 40, and it's not even straining. We could have been doing 80 if we wanted to. The warning if you do lane departure, and it does have the intelligent cruise control. Responsive driving, still good gas mileage. But you see, I've been driving like a maniac, and it was 35, now it's 24. So a lot of gas mileage has to do with how big of a lead foot do you have. A guy just brought me a Camaro, and he drove here from Florida. He got 41 miles a gallon in that Camaro with a V8 engine, because it's got 3 overdrives on the transmission, and he was doing the speed limit, right? But we drove it around like maniacs, and it got 3 miles a gallon. So it went from 41 to 3. This one just went from 35 to 24. So I'd rather do this than get all the way down to 3. So we're back where we started from. As you can see, this thing isn't even moving. I mean, you could probably balance nickels on there. It is an extremely smooth 4-cylinder engine. You can't tell whether it's in park or drive. It doesn't sound any different. They turned it into a fun to drive car that looks like it's gonna last quite some time. They ditched the idea of the stupid CVTs that I hate. Put in a very reliable automatic transmission that still gets good gas mileage, has plenty of pickup, and of course you can put it in sport mode if you want the most. It is an actual transmission where you're shifting actual gears. It isn't one of those CVTs with the fake gear shift where the tack will go up and down, but there's no gears to shift. It's just an illusion of the manufacturers. This is a real transmission that you're actually shifting the gears in, and you can feel it in the better performance. They've gone a long way from the early Mazda 3s, I'll tell you that. Enough room in the back, short, easy to park. The all-wheel drive, that's people's choices. They live in Indiana, and it snows a lot. They don't want to get stuck. Guess what? They're not going to get stuck. The fact that it can get 35 miles a gallon with all-wheel drive, that's something, because I have tested many all-wheel drive vehicles that they were rated up there. I drove a Lexus. It was rated at 35 with the all-wheel drive, and it had a 4-cylinder engine. You know what I got in that thing? 22 miles a gallon driving the speed limit in Texas. The ratings were complete baloney. That's why I do these videos. People bring their cars and I get to see what they actually do, not what some fantasy dynamometer test shows, an actual one, or what they're getting, the kind of mileage that they get. And they admit, you go faster, you're gonna get worse gas mileage. But it can get 35 miles a gallon if you're just driving down a highway. It's not make-believing. For an all-wheel drive vehicle, that's pretty good gas mileage. There they have it, the truth about a new Mazda 3 Turbo. And if you are a serious driver, hey, you like the automatic transmission instead of that dumb CVT. They don't perform right as far as I'm concerned. And when they break, they cost a fortune to repair. Normally, guys just give up and they buy another unit and put it in. They don't even try to rebuild them. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.